If you thought the NFL world had seen it all, think again. Dillon Gabriel and his fiancée just ignited a firestorm nobody saw coming. And the Browns front office is at the center of a shock investigation that has fans and insiders talking nonstop. Imagine waking up to a scandal so explosive, so personal, that it sends your social feeds into chaos, rumors flying faster than a four-quarter Hail Mary. What really happened behind closed doors? Who leaked what? And why is everyone suddenly questioning loyalty, trust, and even career moves? The internet couldn't believe it, and you won't either. Messages circulating in private DMs hint at betrayal. Secret transfers and late-night phone calls that could change everything we thought we knew about Dillon Gabriel. Fans are buzzing, bloggers are speculating, and insiders are whispering names that would make even the toughest sports analysts pause. If you were in his shoes, facing scrutiny, rumors, and a sudden investigation, what would you do? Could you survive the heat, or would it all come crashing down? Let's break it all down, and trust me, it gets uglier. Bro said too much, and they got him. The stage is set, the players are in motion, and what comes next will shock you to your core. Nothing, and I mean nothing, could prepare Dillon Gabriel for what came next. A rising star in the NFL, a quarterback whose arm had dazzled scouts and fans alike, and whose off-field life was supposed to be picture perfect, until it wasn't. Dillon had always been the guy with the clean record, the charming smile, the Instagram-perfect couple moments with his fiancée. But behind the posts and the highlight reels, cracks had started forming, subtle, almost invisible at first, but growing stronger every day. And like most storms, it didn't announce itself. It simply arrived. It started with a DM, one of those messages that seemed harmless at first glance, a screenshot that could have been ignored, a joke among friends that would turn into fuel for an entire front office investigation. You really think no one will notice? The message read, and Dillon, like anyone else, laughed it off. But the laughter was shallow, because the person on the other end wasn't just anyone. This was someone with connections, someone who knew how to make a private story public. In the early weeks, nothing was obvious. Fans saw the posts, dinner dates, gym sessions, weekend getaways. The perfect couple narrative. But insiders started noticing things. A late-night text here, a canceled meeting there, a whispered phone call that ended abruptly when someone walked into the room. The kind of red flags that only matter when someone is paying attention. And someone was paying attention. The Browns front office had been unusually active, too. Not in the way that coaches or scouts usually are, not in the normal grind of evaluating talent and drafting strategy. No, this was different. A pattern had emerged. Questions, subtle inquiries, checks into social interactions, unusual monitoring of financial transactions. And while Dillon thought he was operating under a veil of normalcy, behind the scenes, the gears of an investigation had already started turning. It didn't take long for whispers to escape. A source close to the team dropped hints to a local sports blog, anonymous of course, but with enough detail to spark speculation. The article suggested that Dillon Gabriel's personal life might have crossed paths with a professional one in ways that could jeopardize both. Fans flooded the comments. Twitter threads exploded. What did he do? People asked. Is it legal? Ethical? Both. Nobody knew, but everyone had an opinion. The fiancé, usually calm and composed in public, began showing signs of stress. Subtle at first, a tight jaw during photos, forced smiles, occasional pauses mid-conversation. But stress has a way of revealing itself, especially when cameras are everywhere. A stalker-like curiosity from paparazzi had already started, fueled by anonymous tips that hinted at more than just relationship drama. And Dillon? He stayed focused on football, practiced harder than ever, maybe hoping that if he performed on the field, the outside world would leave him alone. But the world never leaves anyone alone. Not when there are secrets to uncover. Not when fans are hungry for gossip, when bloggers are desperate for clicks, and when a front office smells potential scandal. Slowly, the story began to unfold. In fragments, in cryptic leaks, in screenshots that appeared on social media with no clear origin. A single PayPal transfer, a suspicious location tag, a deleted story that someone managed to save. Each piece by itself was small, but together They started forming a picture that would make even the most loyal fan do a double take. One evening, Dillon received another message. This one not a joke, not casual. A threat disguised as advice. People are watching. Be careful what you post. Be careful who you trust. He stared at his phone for a long time, scrolling back through conversations, trying to figure out which friend, which follower, which connection could have sent it. And the truth? He couldn't. Not yet. Not until the pieces fell into place. Meanwhile, the Browns' internal communications were a storm of their own. Emails, phone calls, text chains, all pointing to a growing concern over potential violations, public image, and off-field conduct. And while Dillon had no idea that the team was monitoring these threads, the pressure was already mounting. The front office wasn't just reacting to rumors. They were preparing for the fallout, for the moment when the story could no longer be contained. Fans began noticing odd patterns. Social media posts from Dillon's fiancée were deleted, stories vanished, captions changed. What once seemed like normal couple behavior suddenly appeared orchestrated, as if someone was trying to control the narrative before the narrative controlled them. Leaks, small ones at first, started surfacing. Screenshots of private conversations, blurred images that seemed harmless, yet carried the unmistakable hint that something deeper was going on. And then there was the first video, grainy, low quality, shot from a distance, yet unmistakably showing Dillon in a situation that raised eyebrows. Was it illegal? Not exactly. Was it scandalous? Absolutely. Bloggers called it a game changer, while fans debated endlessly. It was enough to ignite suspicion, but not enough to confirm anything. The perfect storm of ambiguity that fuels internet speculation. Inside the inner circle, tension grew. Friends who had once been supportive began whispering, making excuses for missed calls, delayed replies, and sudden cancellations. The fiancée tried to keep everything calm, trying to maintain appearances, but her anxiety was visible to anyone paying attention. And everyone was paying attention. Cameras, blogs, social media. The world was a spotlight, and there was nowhere to hide. As the days passed, Dillon's routine remained unchanged on the surface, but the cracks were widening. A missed interview, a subtle slip-up during practice, a phone left unattended. Every detail now mattered. Every conversation could be a thread in a larger tapestry that nobody could yet fully see. The Browns front office wasn't just watching. They were cataloging, cross-referencing, connecting dots that Dillon had no idea existed. And just when it seemed like the tension had reached a simmer, a new leak dropped. Anonymous, yet undeniably authentic. Screenshots of a DM conversation between Dillon and an unnamed party that suggested agreements, discussions, and moments that could be interpreted in any number of ways, depending on who was reading. Fans exploded with speculation. Memes, hot takes, and viral threads multiplied overnight. Dillon and his fiancée were trending, not for touchdowns, not for charity events, but for a story they hadn't even begun to respond to. The suspense was unbearable. Sports analysts and gossip bloggers alike scrambled to piece together the narrative. Was this an isolated mistake, a misstep in judgment, or a deliberate move that could change the trajectory of Dillon Gabriel's career forever? Questions piled up faster than answers, and the answers that eventually came were bound to shock everyone. And yet, even with the leaks, the screenshots, the whispers, the anonymous tips, Dillon had no idea that the next chapter was about to redefine everything. The investigation that the Browns had quietly launched was gaining momentum. Internal discussions were escalating, and what seemed like a minor issue on social media was about to explode into a full-blown front office crisis. But what came next, even his enemies didn't expect. By the time the second week of the Browns' quiet investigation rolled around, Dillon Gabriel and his fiancée were no longer just trending. They were the story. Every sports outlet, fan blog, and viral gossip account had picked up fragments of the leaks, piecing together a narrative that was, depending on who you asked, either shocking or downright career-ending. And while Dillon tried to keep his focus on practice, nothing could shield him from the storm that was gathering momentum. The first real bombshell came from a leaked DM conversation that had circulated anonymously across multiple platforms. In it, Dillon appeared to be negotiating terms with someone connected to off-field sponsorships, personal favors, and arrangements that blurred the line between personal and professional. Fans dissected every word. One line in particular stood out: "Make sure no one finds out. We can't risk it going public." The internet exploded. Twitter threads ran wild. Is Dillon hiding something from the Browns? People asked. Or is this just standard athlete drama? Nobody knew for sure, and that uncertainty fueled the frenzy. Then came the leaked video clip. Grainy, shot from an angle that suggested it wasn't meant for public consumption. It showed Dillon interacting with a figure fans instantly recognized, a controversial influencer known for stirring social media chaos. Dillon's fiancée appeared briefly in the frame, her expression a mix of anxiety and disbelief. Bloggers labeled it the clip that could end a career, while fan forums dissected every movement, every glance, every word. The Browns, aware of the clip, ramped up their internal review. What looked like a minor misstep now became a potential full-blown scandal. Meanwhile, other names began surfacing in connection to Dillon's personal life. Rumors suggested that a league insider, someone who had direct access to financials and private communications, had tipped off the Browns about discrepancies in transactions linked to Dillon's accounts. Anonymous screenshots showed late-night transfers, purchases that didn't quite line up, and cryptic references in DMs that hinted at more than just spending money. Because nothing screams loyalty like a 2 a.m. PayPal transfer labeled confidential. Social media reactions were immediate and brutal. Memes, hot takes, and viral posts flooded every platform. Fans were divided. Some defended Dillon, insisting this was overblown. Others called for accountability, questioning judgment, character, and even the influence of his fiancée. Bro said too much, a viral tweet read. And now they got him. The conversation wasn't just online. Sports analysts and talk radio hosts dissected the story, speculating on legal ramifications, front office decisions, and possible league sanctions. And then there were the anonymous insider comments, allegedly from within the Browns organization itself. One post, credited to someone claiming to be a team staffer, said, "We've seen stars fall for less. The front office isn't messing around. This isn't about football anymore. It's about trust, image, and control." Another hinted that Dillon's fiancée had knowledge of key transactions, raising questions about her role in the unfolding drama. The speculation alone sent Dillon's social media engagement into overdrive, trending hashtags spiking overnight. Leaked text messages also suggested tension in Dillon's private circle. Friends were being pulled into arguments, trust was being questioned, and every action, from a missed call to a deleted post, became fodder for interpretation. One DM, shared anonymously, read, "If they find out what really happened, it's over. No one survives this kind of heat." The vague warning, combined with the increasingly public leaks, created the perfect storm for public frenzy. But the drama didn't stop with messages and videos. Insider rumors began linking Dillon to a string of questionable appearances at high-profile events. Some alleged that certain meetings were not just social but had financial or contractual undertones that could potentially violate team policies. Blogs began reporting on mysterious dinner meetings and unexplained travel, adding layers of scandal that had nothing to do with football but everything to do with perception and optics. Fans didn't need confirmation to speculate. Every glance, every post, every story could be evidence of wrongdoing. Some suggested that Dillon had mismanaged sponsorship funds. Others claimed he had agreed to secret deals that weren't approved by the Browns. The narratives varied wildly, each more dramatic than the last. What the public didn't know, and what made the scandal so tantalizing, was how little Dillon and his fiancée could actually respond without escalating the issue. Amid all of this, the Browns front office quietly tightened the investigation. Internal auditors were involved. Emails were scrutinized. Conversations were monitored. And for every leak, there was a counter leak, a subtle push from someone inside the organization, ensuring that Dillon and his fiancée felt the pressure even before the public did. It was like watching a chess game unfold in real time, but Dillon didn't know he was playing. The tension inside Dillon's own household was palpable. The fiancée, usually the composed figure on social media, began showing cracks. One late-night argument, recorded in a screenshot of a voice note, hinted at fear, confusion, and frustration. "We can't let them control us," she said, voice trembling. But the fear was clear. Someone had access to private information, and that someone was using it strategically. Fans couldn't see the subtleties, but every leaked snippet painted a picture of a couple under siege. As the scandal grew, reactions from the wider celebrity and athlete community began trickling in. Some expressed support, offering statements about trust, loyalty, and the pressures of public life. Others, subtly or not, threw shade, suggesting that Dillon should have known better. The mix of supportive voices and critics created a tense narrative, one where Dillon was both victim and subject, a star under scrutiny in ways that transcended sports. The drama reached a fever pitch when supposed court rumors surfaced, claiming that the Browns might impose sanctions or internal penalties, depending on what their investigation confirmed. Legal analysts weighed in on forums, discussing potential outcomes, ranging from warnings to formal reprimands to media blackouts. Every possibility was debated, dissected, and amplified online. Dillon's name was everywhere, not for plays on the field, but for whispers of betrayal, secrecy, and scandal. And just when it seemed like the story had reached its peak, another name surfaced. Someone who was previously in Dillon's orbit but had remained silent until now. This individual, whose identity remained shrouded in mystery, was allegedly connected to both the leaked messages and the videos. The implications were explosive. Could this person be orchestrating the leaks? Were they motivated by jealousy, revenge, or something even darker? Fans couldn't stop speculating, and the story's momentum skyrocketed. The narrative was no longer just about Dillon and his fiancée. It was about trust, betrayal, secrecy, and the fine line between public persona and private life. Every fan, blogger, and insider comment added fuel to the fire, making it impossible to predict where the next leak or revelation would come from. And the Browns front office, silent but strategic, had positioned themselves as the ultimate arbiters of truth, holding all the cards, while Dillon and his fiancée navigated a maze of suspicion and scrutiny. As the week ended, Dillon's public appearances grew tense. One press conference, meant to clarify minor points, only added fuel to the fire when a fan question hinted at the leaked DMs. Dillon froze momentarily, glanced at his fiancée, and delivered a rehearsed smile. Social media reacted immediately. Some praised her composure, others interpreted it as guilt. The internet was relentless, and the suspense was unbearable. But just when everyone thought it was over, another name came up, a figure who had stayed in the shadows, whose involvement could rewrite the entire story. And this revelation promised to turn everything upside down, forcing Dillon, his fiancée, and even the Browns front office to confront truths they hadn't anticipated. The moment the new name surfaced, Dillon Gabriel and his fiancée felt the ground shift beneath them. What had once been whispers in private chats, grainy leaked videos, and anonymous DMs had evolved into a full-blown public spectacle, and now the stakes were higher than ever. The figure in question, an insider whose connections ran deep within the Browns organization, had the power to unravel everything. And suddenly, Dillon realized this wasn't just about a scandal. It was about survival. Fans didn't know the half of it. Online speculation skyrocketed. Memes and viral threads spread faster than any touchdown highlight. "This isn't football, it's a scandal Olympics," one popular tweet read. Dillon's fiancée, caught in the center of the storm, had begun showing cracks that no social media filter could hide. In leaked voice notes, her frustration and fear were palpable. "I just want this to end," she whispered, though the chaos only seemed to escalate with every passing hour. Inside the Browns front office, the investigation had escalated to a level that Dillon and his fiancée couldn't have imagined. Emails, internal reports, and even financial audits were being cross-referenced. Sources claiming to be close to the front office leaked selective details to blogs, painting Dillon as a player whose personal life was dangerously intertwined with professional obligations. The implication was clear. Trust had been broken, boundaries crossed, and accountability demanded. Meanwhile, Dillon tried to keep his focus on football. Practices, team meetings, even interviews became exercises in composure. But the emotional toll was undeniable. Friends and teammates noticed subtle changes. A distracted glance, a sudden silence, a phone kept closer than usual. The pressure wasn't just from fans or the media. It was a constant awareness that every action, every post, every private conversation could be the next headline. And then came the twist that nobody saw coming. The insider who had triggered the latest leaks was revealed. Not in a press conference, not in a public statement, but in a private message Dillon accidentally left open. The revelation was stunning. Someone from within his inner circle, someone he trusted implicitly, had orchestrated much of the drama. It wasn't just malicious gossip. It was strategic manipulation. Every leak, every suspicious message, every ambiguous screenshot had been carefully curated to destabilize him. The fallout hit hard. Fans reacted with shock, betrayal, and outrage. Online forums debated motives. Was this revenge, jealousy, or a calculated power move within the organization? Bloggers speculated endlessly. One leaked comment from an anonymous source read, "Dillon thought he was playing the game on the field, but off the field, he was being played." Dillon's fiancée, facing the dual pressures of public scrutiny and private betrayal, began to withdraw. Social media posts became fewer, captions shorter, and images more guarded. Leaked voice notes showed a mix of regret and confusion. "I didn't know who to trust anymore," she admitted, her voice trembling. The public saw a composed figure, but insiders could hear the unraveling. Then came the revenge plot. Someone close to Dillon, someone who had watched the drama unfold from the sidelines, began leaking additional information, each piece more explosive than the last. A dinner conversation here, a private text there, images and video clips that cast doubt, raised questions, and ignited speculation. Bloggers labeled it the final act in a scandal trilogy, and fans couldn't get enough. The mental toll on Dillon was visible. Practices were slower, reactions delayed, concentration scattered. Teammates whispered behind his back, not out of malice but out of concern. Coaches tried to shield him from additional stress, but the story was everywhere. Every new leak, every viral post, every trending hashtag reminded him that the investigation wasn't over. It had evolved into a siege. And yet, in the midst of chaos, a surprising twist occurred. Dillon's fiancée, the person who had endured whispers, speculation, and betrayal, began quietly reclaiming control. Private messages to trusted friends indicated she had gathered evidence of her own, revealing inconsistencies in the insider leaks. It was a subtle form of redemption, a chance to shift the narrative. But she also knew one wrong move could escalate the scandal further. Fans watched, analysts commented, and insiders whispered. Dillon and his fiancée navigated each day like a high-stakes game, balancing public appearances with private investigations of their own. Every move was scrutinized, every statement parsed, and the pressure built toward crescendo. Just when it seemed like the story might resolve, another betrayal surfaced, this time from within Dillon's own family circle. Leaked documents hinted at financial mismanagement and private negotiations that Dillon hadn't authorized. The revelation sparked heated debates online. Was this negligence, deliberate sabotage, or just another layer of manipulation in a saga that seemed never-ending? Social media erupted. The drama had shifted from personal scandal to a multifaceted crisis involving trust, money, and reputation. And the most shocking revelation? Someone within the Browns organization had apparently been feeding selective information to rival teams. The intent wasn't just to control Dillon's narrative, but to influence perceptions, potentially affecting trade talks, draft decisions, and career opportunities. Suddenly, the scandal wasn't just personal. It was professional, with ramifications that could ripple across the league. As the week drew to a close, Dillon's public appearances became measured, cautious, and tense. Interviews were brief, social media posts minimal. Fans speculated endlessly, and conspiracy theories flourished. Every gesture, every word, every photo became a piece of the puzzle. The suspense was relentless, but the story didn't end there. The final twist came in the form of an unexpected ally, a former teammate, someone previously silent, who leaked an audio recording confirming some of Dillon's innocence while exposing the manipulations of those who betrayed him. The revelation was explosive. It didn't erase the chaos, but it reshaped the narrative, leaving fans reeling. Dillon and his fiancée had weathered betrayal, public scrutiny, and emotional turmoil, but the scars remained. And then, just when it seemed the storm might subside, she vanished without a trace. But the secret stayed. And just like that, Dillon Gabriel and his fiancée have been through a whirlwind that most of us could never even imagine. Betrayal, secret leaks, manipulation from those closest to them. It's a saga that has rocked the Browns, rattled fans, and sent shockwaves across social media. But the real question isn't what happened, it's what comes next. Could Dillon bounce back? Will the truth finally see the light of day? Or is this just the beginning of a scandal that refuses to die? We've shown you the leaks, the DMs, the videos, the whispers, and betrayals. We've watched trust shatter, loyalty tested, and careers teeter on the edge. Now it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about Dillon Gabriel's situation? Is he a victim of circumstance, a master of missteps, or caught in a trap of his own making? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your take on every shocking twist and turn. And if you thought this story was over, think again. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because this saga is far from finished. We're tracking every leak, every rumor, and every shocking revelation as it unfolds. From inside scoops to unexpected twists, this channel will bring you the full, unfiltered story. Stay tuned because more shocking updates are coming. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single detail. The internet is buzzing, the Browns are watching, and Dillon Gabriel's life, both on and off the field, is still in the spotlight. So what's your verdict? Can he survive the heat, or is the fallout just getting started? Comment below, share your theories, and make sure you're subscribed. Because when secrets like these stay hidden, someone always pays the price.